Live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon. Brought to you by AftCo Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, community Kevin Brannon.
Scotty, you made it. You made it to our normal weekly podcast here at the Dockside Learning Center. But today, we're going to give you a Mr. Rogers neighborhood, community Kev. What's the new name I'm going for, too, with the new Coastal Critters is Kevin Henson, right? We're going to bring you inside to kind of show you what goes on here in our little land of make-believe that you might heard from, I think that was Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Give you little guys an insight too, man. So, even though Real Guppy Outdoors is the nonprofit that I found, Real Anglers Fishing Show is my baby. And I went back to Oxnard College to be a filmmaker for PBS-style educational film that I wanted to produce and a television fishing show out of California because I didn't think California had enough fishing shows as opposed to maybe back east or in the Midwest and stuff like that. But I also wanted to add a lot of education. With me, my history of working on sport boats since I was a kid, I answered a lot of questions, everything from tourism to how do you cook the fish, seeing people being overwhelmed with tackle. So I wanted to kind of break it down into easy terms. I didn't want it to seem like you were at an exotic location to catch these fish or you needed expensive boat or, real expensive gear to go out and enjoy yourself. That's why we start on the pier fishing and jetty fishing and sport boat fishing. And it has never really been about me, even though I'm the host, knowing everything. I do know a lot about this Channel Islands region, but I wanted it to be all over California. So this last year, we've actually done, I think, 7 episodes that were outside of this little region of the Channel Islands that we normally do in Santa Barbara. We actually went to the Bay Area, San Diego, did some shark fishing. We went to Bakersfield to do striper fishing. We went to Fin and Feather to do some trout fishing with Big Willie. So again, showing our partnerships. But anyway, I want you guys to come inside. And the reason I'm laying that out for you is because with this new television show, Coastal Critters, that's another one of my, on my list of goals that we wanted to do as a documentary filmmaker. So yes, I have a nonprofit called Real Guppy Outdoors that I started about 10 years ago, but Real Anglers Fishing Show and my journey started about 15 years ago. So come on in and we're going to show you guys a little bit of the history and give you guys a tour of the Dockside Learning Center, okay? So again, when you come in here, we got all of our stickers that you could see from whenever we go and, to different networking events, people that we worked with. Again, we went to the Bay Area for sturgeon. That's our buddy Steve-O, Eagle Claw, just as outside we get grants from. So again, we take a lot of our stickers and we stick them all over the door because we want it to kind of look like a tackle shop, right? When you pull up here, you could see it looks like a kind of, little historic old fishing tackle shop that you might have stopped and got some worms or bobbers from or something like that. We also have a commercial fishing dock that's right next to us, and we do a lot of teaching for career pathways. The difference between commercial fishing, which is more you're catching fish that goes to market, versus recreational fishing that we catch with a hook and a line. And again, recreational fishing is everything from kayaking, surf, pond, freshwater, saltwater, scuba diving, right? That's all considered recreational fishing versus commercial fishing where you use more nets and long lining and stuff like that. But we do collect these from the commercial dock, which is about 100 yards that way. Again, we got some of the nets from over there. We made this little decor with the buoys that you would see on these commercial crab nets that identify them. Back in the day, this is what we would put our fish in. Check it out. Oh, here we go. Check this out. So again, depending on when you come out on a boat, right, or if you're fishing, look at all these different stringers that we've collected. I'm really into history. My mom was a cultural anthropologist, so kind of like, the history of people and cultures. But look at all these different things that if you go freshwater fishing, you would hook your fish to, right? Your little trout or your bass. But out here on the, even this one here, everybody remembers this one, right? You just slide it up there, put it into the dirt, right? And you have these different little stringers that you would use. But when you go on a sport boat, you're more likely to use a gunny sack that you put your fish in a potato sack. And nothing in the morning gets me excited, that nostalgia feeling about being on a boat, smelling bacon, anchovies, gunny sack, and diesel fuel from a boat. It really gets me excited. There's something about that whole aroma in the morning that gets me all fired up, right, with the ocean. But there's just this smell. And when our documentary filmmaking, what we wanted to do was kind of bring that to the viewer. Again, real cinematic film, not just, again, catching it, but really planting those memories in you of those smells, that sunrise, things. Again, no matter where you're at, you're going to smell it. If you're on a lake, you're going to smell the creek and the smell of a creek. I was a creek kid, so I like the smell of that mud and the dirt and the leaves and, in the lake. So we try to capture that in our film. Also with our education, come check this out. So we leave these out here for the students and look at how the barnacles and stuff grow on it, right? So if this one, part of fisheries management is this net could be set in one place and they'll tag it so they know who it belongs to. But if there's a huge current, let's say Santa Cruz Island or something, this will get picked up and misplaced somewhere further down the island. And then other fishermen that do come across it when we're doing our beach cleanups and stuff will retrieve this gear and then leave it there on the dock for them to get it. And see right here, the number on the side of the buoy. So there's an identifier. And trust me, commercial fishermen, and that's why we do a lot of advocating for fishing, especially in California, is that the commercial fishermen and the recreational fishermen do everything in their power to not litter and to practice sustainable fishing practices and have responsible fishing practices. Because again, if you lose this net, it's going to cost you a bunch of money, right? Last thing you want to do is intentionally lose gear. But if it's been in there for a year or two before it finally, the ocean will giveth, but it'll take away, right? And when you take away, when it sits in there, look at all, like these acorn barnacles that you find, things that grow on it. So the kids could come along here with their little magnifying glasses and kind of look to see what kind of little critters that you could find on there. Because again, and also if you're in California, we're trying to look for like artificial reefs and things that happen in other states. You could show that, life does find a way, like the guy said on Jurassic Park. So if you were to, sink ships out there, things that are of that nature, that we could have these coral, type of a reef or artificial reef that we could use to fish in California as another place for us to fish besides the kelp patties and the rock piles and stuff like that. So anyway, just a little nerdy stuff that we do, but we do leave that out here as a display just so that you kind of get that feeling when you come into the Dockside Learning Center, right? Plus me being an artist, I like to look at how we curate things or look at a set, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, why be basic, right? And of course, me, Captain America, man, coming out here to live the American dream, man. It's the only flag that we fly out here. Might get a California flag because I'm the California Bear, right, Scotty? CCB, Caliente Cal Bear. But yeah, we have this in the front to remind people that they can live their dreams, man, the American dream. All right, so let's come on in. So again, welcome, boys and girls, to the land of make-believe. Actually dated a girl one time for years that swore that I lived in the land of make-believe because my thought process is, the way I think is always so positive, right? So anyway, let me show you. Let me show you where positive thinking will get you. So right here, our multimedia studio, right? Look at what it says right here. Where your imagination can go anywhere, embracing the evolution of digital creativity, Real English Fishing Show and Real Radio podcast. But right now, since the internet is pretty slow here, we actually can't run the podcast system here because it pixelates and it's really slow. So once Carl's comes in here and we get the new facility in about a year and a half, we'll have modern day technology, a little bit faster internet. So we'll be filming back at the podcast center there and also filming it. So it'll be live coming to you. So stay tuned for that. Again, I'm a dreamer, right? Here's a dream. So again, we put this as you, so you just start getting this positive thinking when you come in the door. We have stickers, brochures, stuff that we give away when you come in. Uncle Dave and his historic stuff, he comes in and puts together some little decorations for us as well, capturing data with our general registration. And then we give as many stickers and stuff away to the kids as we can. We have some partners here in the Channel Islands area, some of our friends. So we have some brochures for fish and tackle, whale watching, Fred Clinshaw, people that you've heard on the podcast before, right? Always helping our fellow, people that you see within our network, right? We hear Adam Casillas talk about if you're not networking, you're not working. And you can see that we have a lot of our partners stuff out here for display. Then you can see some of the awards that we've won, how far back as we go, 2019. But check this out. That's pretty cool, right? Look at all that. Kevin Brannon and Real Anglers before it was even Real Guppy Outdoors. Kevin Brannon when I was doing presentations. But here's the original logo right here again. So we know how long we've been doing this, over 15 years. This is a can with the fishing string. If you heard my story, I used to get fishing string out of the trash cans on the Hueneme Pier. I would look for a couple of hooks on the floor, and then I would fish with a drop line. So that was our initial, one of the first ones that we had. That one and the worm catching the fish. Both of my logos were had symbolism, right? Again, Real English Fishing Show when I started at Oxnard College years ago. Again, let's come on in here real quick. This is our merchandise, our little break room area. Kobe and Nip, right? Because we're Californians, man. So, you know, those are guys that had a strong mindset to put into their craft. They're no longer with us. Me being African American as well and mixed breed, you know, I look up to other folks of color that have dominated and flipped the script in the game. And again, look at Kobe, man, right out of high school, right? That Mamba mentality. And same with Nip, you know, they're both out of LA guys, even though I think Kobe did play, you know, he played in Italy and stuff as a kid. And then look at, so again, we keep history, man. We got to keep our history, dude. I think it's important. And we're going to show you some historic stuff. Like, look at the decor right here, right? A little hook thing. Look how old this is, right? Again, just decor and art. But this is me and Kevin Jr. when we got our first magazine back in the day, Real Anglers Fishing Show. And there's Kevin Jr. And then, of course, I love my boy. So when he made it to the playoff game, I had to get a big head made and go up there and show out. I didn't have a dad growing up, so I over dad, right? A guy at the gym told me the other day, like, oh, because, you know, he's at that age now, 20 years over. He doesn't really hang out with me as much anymore. He's got his own life. And the guy at the gym was like, well, you know what that's like. And I'm like, no, I don't know what that's like. So I give my kids extra hugs and love because maybe I'm making up for some of the hugs and love I didn't get growing up. But hey, everybody has a story, right? And I just wanted to tell you some of mine. Keep it real with you. Yeah, so just, again, keeping historic stuff, man, that I like to keep on deck. You ever go into people's offices, Scotty, and they ain't got nothing on the wall? I'm like, you got to wake those walls up, man. You need your art. So anyway, I live by what I say, right? I got our oatmeal, our meal prepping, weighing in today at 217. All of our children's workbooks. Scotty, check this out. We have so many children's workbooks now in English and Spanish. We have boxes of children's workbooks. We have merchandise that we got. This is stuff for the guppies to wear. And then again, Community Kevin, Costa Del Mar sunglasses. Everybody knows Barry from the show, right? Barry sits right here. I got to do a little cleanup, that's for sure. We joined the yacht club. Check it out. We're yacht club members now. You can't join the yacht club, I told him, until we get a boat. And since CPA helped us get a boat, Clean Power Alliance, now I can officially join the yacht club, right? It's like joining a biker gang without a bike. You know what I mean? I'm going to stand by that. You got to stand on what it is. Now check out some of my art. So we're getting back into photography this year. Look at this beautiful picture. Scotty, what do you think?
Gorgeous.
I got to go get a frame for that before it gets destroyed and damaged. But I got that picture on the sunrise on the gentleman. It was out of the window when I was making coffee, and I just took a little shot of that. So yeah, this is where it happens out right here. I take my bike ride out, more of my photography over there, film, our boxes. Let me show you something right here. Let me bring this into you, okay? If you write your goals down, right, Real Anglers Fishing Show. So some of these things are up for when we did our tour, so people could give themselves a self-guided tour. You know, articles that we were cut out in, articles over there, so you can see the history of how far we've come. Brought the whole team to ICAST. This is my first press kit right here that went out. I got autographed by Kai Green, my favorite bodybuilder, right? Something that somebody made me to when we were taking out Open Door Studio. They painted this for me while we were fishing with adults with disabilities on the pier. My fan base, they made these for me when I got leader of the year, right? So I like to keep all the stuff that people make for me, man. I got a real fan base, and the memories that we catch, Kevin Jr., Anthony, Allison, Award. But this is what I wanted to show you. This is my first check for selling children's workbooks. The lady that when I made my children's workbooks told me to my face, you won't be able to sell these. Interesting, right? Don't let nobody poop on your dream, okay? But she told me that, and I remember, again, excuse my, I'm not going to do it for real. I just mean it like push you out of your chair, because how do you look at somebody and tell them what they can't do? And that's why I don't do that to people, right? Think about what you can do. My daughter right here, congratulations on your success, Dad. I love watching you chase your dreams. You're my role model. And that's for my daughter. Yeah, man, you got to put those reminders out, because some days when it gets rough and you're against, you got to go in and it gets tough and difficult, man. These are the reminders that I had. So anyway, this one right here is how much I wanted to make by a certain year, almost there. But what you want, write it out. What you're going to do to get it, right? Like, you're going to give back, right? Build your brand, what it's going to take. And then again, what you want to give back. And that's important. So there's that aspect. And then this over here, this is one of my faves. I guess it's up here. Check it out. And my favorite guy is Wolverine, man. And if you ever think about superheroes, how many of them, like Spider-Man right here, this is the Ventura edition right here. There's Ventura. But Wolverine's my favorite, man, of all times, man. He's about 5'6", and whatever comes. I remember when he was fighting the Sentinels and he just pulls out his little swords and he starts climbing up the Sentinel and cuts his head off. Like, as soon as the funk jump off, there's the bounce board we were looking for. Right there behind, see it over there behind the clothing? That's what you need. The other day we're using a bounce board for when we're filming Coastal Critters outside that silver thing. But anyway, this is one right here out of Ventura with Spider-Man. But Spider-Man, right, he's an orphan. He loses his parents, right? And his grandparents are raising him. And where we live at, you know how many people maybe have to stay with their grandparents or a single parent, and a lot of you know, the X-Men and a lot of the comic book guys, Marvel, if you look at their story, a lot of them come from some type of background that they had to overcome to become a superhero, man. So there's a hero in all of us. Remember that, okay? You never know who God can pick to choose and use your disabilities or your disadvantages to be an advantage for the rest of the world. Just something to think about, right? And then I took this from my mom because I love her, rest in peace. When she moved out of her pad, I got some memorabilia from my mom in here too, because she helped give us some funding to do all this, right? That we got from grandma. But one of the big highlights of my career, again, was getting into Bass Pro Shops. Now, quick little story. How are we looking on time, Scotty? We got a meeting in a few minutes. Quick little story is that I went into Bass Pro Shops, and those children's workbooks the lady told me I would never sell, I was putting them out there just as giveaways. I stopped there on the way to, I think, Tahoe one day and put them in there. Already positive mind thinking. Left them in there. Some kids were in line. I gave them to them, but I just put the books out there. And then a few years later, I ended up going out there to become a speaker. And I did my podcast from there with Bubba. And then one of the cool things I remember is that we got to feed the fish, man. And I've always watched that happen. So to be able to, you know, feed the fish in the fish tank and put the headset on at Bass Pro Shop, man, was a dream come true for a kid like me again. And you could see since 2011, I had this dream and this vision of what I would do and been pursuing it ever since, right? This is another quick one that's important that I learned, again, as if you're a business person or a director, again, when we talk about mindset, right? We talk about these words here like mindset, but I took this from a school, man. Make sure that you get your breaks in, man. Something that I needed to work on myself, you know, so now I take my bike. See, I got my bike right here, so I could take a bike ride, listen to music, whatever it is that you want to do, rest. I'll throw Ocho on the ground and lay on Ocho, but it's just important as a director, entrepreneur, man, that you take care of yourself, man, and take your breaks, and you ain't got to go hard all the time in the paint. Scotty shipping over fishing poles and skulls and stuff because that's what we do. Look, thank you, Daiwa. Shout out to them too. I have so many rods, again, from a kid that was using a drop line to fully decked out by Daiwa. Look at all that beautiful Daiwa gear that they get me. And that's the only sponsor that I've ever tried to get with the real sponsor, and it eventually paid off from a summit, meeting Mark Mills at the summit in New Orleans, man. And here we are. We're gonna go check the mail. There should be a check in there from Daiwa too for a couple racks that we use for our film team. So you got to go check the mail after that. All right, come on through. So I stole some of these ideas. Oh, again, me being a PBS guy, you know, I got my Bob Ross, man. I'm a big Bob Ross dude. Peep the game, right, Bob? It's all good, right? Look at that. Little happy trees with your best self. Oh, who knocked down? So I collect artifacts, but I got this idea watching one a good, I don't know him yet personally. A couple people I want to meet. One is going to be LeVar Burton for sure. And one of them is going to be Jim Shockey from his shows. And he has his studio called the Hand of Man. And he collects artifacts all over the road where they go hunting at too. Talk about the culture side, again, that cultural anthropology aspect. So we collect a lot of critters that we go out. So I got stuff from Louisiana, again, where I met Mark Mills at New Orleans for that. And then everything we have here, again, is it's hands-on education here. And you have history. Look, we got old pictures from Channel Island Sport Fishing, old fishing reels, old lures, right? We have 900 square feet here, people. And I think I've used every inch and then some because it comes out away from the wall. And if you look at it, remember when we were kids growing up, again, I just been studying the game for so long that when you would go into, what is it, Scotty? Blockbuster, they put all little snacks about this high. So we wanted to make sure all of our displays are pretty much this high. So that way when the youth come in, that they are able to walk up, touch, and fill it. These normally go outside too. When I put these outside, I'll show you how this works right here. But since today we're only open until noon because we got to go to Carpinteria. But normally this will sit right here, and these go here. I should have put them out. And then this goes here. So, and we put all the rods and reels and everything. We open it up right here. But since we're leaving at noon, I didn't put everything out today. Derek's out sick again. So,
introduce this gentleman here.
So that's Sir Chompsalot. We got this from Marshall's wife, Tanya. She wore this at some of our booths at like the Banana Festival. So we use them now as one of the puppets, Sir Chompsalot Senior. And sometimes the kids will wear them out there when we do a tackle sale, and they'll hold a little guppy, the real guppy little corner sign when we're getting this way, like for tackle sales and stuff. And then let me show you something else. So my nickname growing up, my nickname is O-Dog. But before I got the O from O-Dog, a little history, they used to call me Oompa Loompa because I was, again, about this tall and fat. And so one day at a bonfire at the beach, I always had a bad mouth. And Kevin easily told me, shut up, Oompa Loompa. And that name just spread all over summer. And by the end of summer, everybody just called me Oompa Loompa. But if you don't make jokes about yourself too and look back, but look, that's me. Look, that's why I say it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We got some Oompa Loompas, but that's Community Kev, man. They did that at Channel Island Sport Fishing. I think they put that on me, or Mike did it, one of my buddies. But anyway, that's my nickname, man, Oompa Loompa. And the other nickname I had growing up was Willow, because again, my curly hair, my Afro-American side. I have real curly hair. If you see Kevin Jr. in the pictures, the videos, you see they got that fro. That's genetics because of our black side. And so they call me Willow. And I would transfer schools about every 6 months, moving around. And I would get to a new school and finally, you know, oh, I'm at a new school. And some other kid would transfer, like, oh, Willow goes here. And then the whole school would call me Willow again. So if you know me, if you call me Willow in the streets, I know you know me since at least Kamala. If you call me O-Dog, I know you know me from that era, right? If you call me Oompas, I know you know me from that era. And if you don't call me Community Kev, you're probably just more getting to know me recently, or Kevin. But, you know, there's a character in all of us. But over this time, I know God's been refining my character as well for the work that I'm going to be doing. So I could see that happen. And one of the favorite things that I have, again, some more awards that we have. This is, we do have our patent for the Real Angler logo. We're waiting for the Guppy logo to come in, but we own it for all of our licensing deals. Again, think it's super professional, man. Thank you, Nipsey Hussle, again, for teaching us about ownership and being an owner and entrepreneurship. It's one thing, man, but to be ownership and have all that, that's super important. American flag, again, a couple of awards we won for stuff. This is the first children's workbook in Miss Batista's room me and Anthony went into. So again, I keep a lot of memorabilia, man, in our little trophy case in history, from Channel Islands Harbor to our partnerships. This is where we pick up our stewardship component when the kids come in. And again, a shout out to AFCO, man. Check that out. Look how they keep me laced right here. To the board shorts. I am the fly fisherman, man. I don't fly fish, but I fish fly. Thank you very much, AFCO, for keeping me laced up and on deck. But they also send us bags that we pick up the litter with. So the kids pick up litter to do their stewardship with. And then we actually weigh it like a fishing, like a bass tournament. So we got the scale, and then they come in here and they weigh it. And then here's the standings right now for our sustainability practice. You can see all the different kids that have weighed trash in this new cohort. We got 111 pounds last year. We do an intercoastal cleanup. So there it is there that we keep track, but it's like a little weigh-in on a bass tournament that they come in here and weigh their trash. And when they do their cleanup on the weekends that they come in, and that's their stewardship. We have these crutches right here. There's 2 cards that you cannot play around me. Okay. And those 2 cards are blame and excuse. I used to blame and use excuses, and it doesn't get you anywhere. So blame and excuse is something that you're not allowed to use. You do not want to limp around in life with blame and excuse. Let me give you a little demo. So when I got to, can you believe this kid like myself got to present at CSUCI? So I put the blame and excuse here, and I was like, now you're just gonna limp through life with blame and excuse. I can't do this because I ain't got a dad. I can't do this because I live in a single home. I can't do this. And I think sometimes institutions will help you with that. Oh, you're just a product in your environment, so that's why it's okay if you do that. Let's incentivize you to just act right by giving you stuff. And that's why we don't really incentivize here, man. We are a what do we call it? We are a incentive based. Maybe we do, but you got to earn it, right? We don't just give it to you because you act right. You got to earn it, right? There is an achievement based. That's what we are. We're an achievement based program. So the more that you come in here and achieve, the more you get to go on boat trips, the more you get to go to the island, the more you get brand new fishing gear that we get versus the donated stuff that you got to rebuild on the rod building. Is an achievement based program. You got to buy into the program, come in, serve your time, put in your dues, do your work, and then you'll hit success. How are we looking on time, Scott? We need to pause it for the meeting. Keep going.
5 more minutes.
Okay. So coming down this way again, we do Bath and Body Works is my favorite. And I tried other candles and I'll never go back. It's Bath and Body Works 3 wicks on sale or nothing, man. And the reason we burn these in here, it's not for a seance purpose, but come here, take a look. So again, collecting all of that artifacts and all that marine life, sometimes it gets a little pungent in here, right? And between the fishing gear that we collect, like yesterday, check this one out. When you come down this way, I'll show you. I got these brittle starfish that were on the side of the dock. They were all dead, and they definitely have an aroma to them, right? And then if you get donated tackle from somebody's garage that's been in there for a couple of years, between the dust and the sea creatures, it does have a fragrance. So we burn the candles in here just to give it a little different aromatic. Again, keep my head. Look at all these badges right here. We don't need no stinking badges. Yeah, you do. Sometimes in life. Look at this one. This is the newest one. Look, to the SHOT Show. I got to go to the SHOT Show, the biggest gun show besides these ones. The gun show that was in Vegas, and we're getting some replies back. We started networking with them. Derek sent out a bunch of emails last week, and we had a meeting with one in Texas, and another guy wants to see some of our programming. So again, coming back home, following up on those cards and those leads, we'll let the interns jump on that, and they learn how to do that marketing and communication. Come on down this way. Again, more of the stuff we keep, our spotlight. You know what I'm saying? So when Noah put us on the back of the boat, or the back of the booklet, and they came out and filmed me, and I met them at ICAST, just let them sit at my table. I seen a couple of, hey, look, there's Mighty Paws. She's on our board of directors now too. Look, alumni. Mighty Paws. What up, girl? And then I didn't realize she was in this one. And then this is the one that we got, our community partners, Real Guppy Outdoors. It's in there somewhere. And as our partners, because we get student interns from CSUCI. I got to tell her that she's in this one. Community partners. There we are, Real Guppy Outdoors. I guess if I would have just went to the Post-it, right? Look, check that out. And then again, I got to go and speak in a class with those crutches. So you can see the power of networking, right? And then we got that lead from Ashley Pope that you seen on the podcast last year from the Chamber of Commerce that said, hey, this nonprofit could use some internships. And Jose came in. Here we are. Again, we got some bass that were passed along. Been Chamber since 2018 members. Going on, what, 8 years? 8 years we've been in that chamber. So the power of networking, coming up on a dozen, our donors. And then this side over here, this is one of the cool ones too that I got, was me on the Ventana last year. Put me all over the map, all over California. That was pretty cool. Shout out to Victor Budzik for coming out. All right, so here's Ocho I was talking about. Sometimes I need to take a break. I'll just throw Ocho on the ground, read a book, and lay on top of Ocho. We bring him out. He's coming with me to film Ocho, and this is Otis, the otter. So they all got names. And that's going on, right? Like here's Earl the Ego. Ocheesy, he's a smaller version of Ocho that comes with me. You might have seen these guys in the Coastal Critters, right? There's Sheldon with his little shell. And then yesterday I took the shark mouth with me and stuff to the school. I was on a campus yesterday, so I will in my little Coastal Critters and shells. And yesterday, actually, we had all of Bikini Bottom, right? We had Mr. Krabs. Check it out. Mr. Krabs was here. We had SpongeBob. This is a sponge right here that we did get from one of those nets outside that I showed you. Mr. Krabs, Squidward, Gary, and then these are the brittle starfish. I was telling you had that aroma. So these are little starfish that come in that fall out of the crab nets, and these are little brittle stars. So we had a Patrick Star too. So yesterday, and the kids are like, "You got all the SpongeBob creatures," and I was like, "Yeah." That's why I like the sixth graders. Sixth graders come up to me on campus and check out all the tables. The seventh and eighth graders, they're not as, they start to transition into cool kids, so they don't come and hang out with me as much as I go to the sixth grade. Over here, we got our rod building. So we had to take a quick break because we had a meeting with the Conejo Chamber of Commerce to talk about a couple of our events coming up. So I'm going to record Scotty for the gram real quick. We keep it live. Today on the podcast, we are giving a tour of the Dockside Learning Center, what we're doing, and updating our viewers and our fans on what goes on here. So that's what we're doing on today's podcast. And Scotty's back there. So the guests are our coastal creatures. Where we stopped before we got to that meeting with the Conejo Chamber of Commerce was right here at the rod building station. So we're going to go into that in our snack. So our rod building is what we do. We have this thing called the rebuild program where you take these broken rods that say repair that have been donated. We get a lot of broken and damaged gear that's donated out of somebody's garage. This right here has been, when my granddaughter comes in now, we got to baby proof it. So this is here. So again, we talked about the small level. She likes to eat everything right now. So she'll put all those shells in her mouth. So we had to this is just gated off there. But again, you can see our Real Anglers, California. And we are on Pursuit Network on Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for the next couple of quarters. And we had our, we're just putting 2 of the Coastal Critters episodes on there as well, so we can showcase that. So anyhow, that's more of our displays that we do have. Just wanted to show you that before I get to the rod building. And then here's our rebuild, right? So we get these rods that are broken and damaged. Uncle Dave comes in on the second Saturday with Joshua, but then Joshua can do it on Tuesday nights when he's here as well. Derek does it a little bit, but it's mostly Uncle Dave and Joshua. So they'll take these rods and you come over to the broken, like this area here. And something I tell about the story, right? Look at old school. And we got stuff everywhere. Look at the old hula popper still in the box. Nerds with it. Our little shark I got from Galveston. Again, as I go on my little travels, little Gulliver's travels. This whole area down here is everything that I pretty much captured when I was in Galveston, Texas, working with the Marine Sanctuaries and National Park Trust when they sent me to Texas to go help them out over there. Again, coast to coast, the host with the most, whether it's the East Coast, the Gulf, or the West Coast, you can find Community Kev. And I got this shark. I'll tell you another funny story. I had this in my gym bag, that I brought on there that had my clothes in it, right? My luggage. And the lady's like, "Oh, we got to see what's in there." And I was like, "I got a shark." And she kind of giggled like, "A shark?" And she pulled this out of my underwear section. And she's like, "Oh my God, baby, you got a shark." She had that Southern accent. So they had to go get clearance to make sure that I was able to bring that on the plane. I didn't think about it. But anyway, they stopped me. And I got those. Look at this is a blue shell. a blue crab shell. Look at the little swimmer crab that we get. This is very similar, but this is from a blue crab that was on the pier that I was fishing on. And yes, I did catch a couple of fish while I was there. Marking it off, right? Texas, Florida, California, my little check boxes of things I get to do that are fun. So again, this is our rod building section right here. Kevin, Community Kev, I don't know if you've seen on the last, we took Ventura County Coast, set up something where we took out the Kansas City Current fishing, a couple of the professional soccer players from Kansas City. Ladies came out and did some fishing with us on the pier. And then at the Orange County PCS show, I'll be at that booth for 2 days talking fishing. And then we'll visit Oxnard, actually help them set up a page about recreational fishing in our backyard from piers, boats. Again, the power of networking, man. The power of networking. And whether it's the coast here in Ventura, coast to coast, coast to coast, or going with National Park Trust again and NOAA, stuff like that. So down here, you can see where we hold our snackums. Got to have your snackies for the kiddos. We got a reimbursement grant that we got from, let me tell you how nonprofit works, right? So you get some of these grants that are restricted funding. So we can't pay any of our payroll. There's certain things we can't buy, but we can buy stuff for the program. So tattoos, stickers, trips to the island, and snacks. So I went to Costco and loaded up on healthy snacks. You can see we got a little bit healthier variety of snacks that we have. You got to have goldfish crackers, all right, because we're a fishing club, right? We wanted to get gummy worms, like my logo, but they don't have them there. So we got little gummy bears because, again, I am the Caliente Cow Bear, right? I got my brain just works in this way that just sees everything with little cliches or some type of connection. So yeah, that's what we got down here. And we think then that's Channel Islands Harbor Foundation is the one that they reimburse us for our programming supplies. Now over here, check this out. The Asvalungs, let me fix this right here. Nils and Sherry Asvalung. Sherry caught the smaller bass. Nils caught the bigger bass. Rest in peace. This is his little shrine right here. She's been a huge donor for the last couple of years, probably about $35,000. Help us keep the doors open while we're waiting to partner with that probation one. So this year she gave us funding to put into account to pay for that type of stuff. Then we turn those receipts back in and then they reimburse us and we put the funding back in that account. So she's our reimbursement supplier. So, right, like, okay, you put money in this account, about $10,000, that covers us because there was times where we would want to get trips to the island, waiting for funding to come in as a nonprofit. In the summertime, you get your money, you say, hey, we want to book this trip. Well, the trip's already been sold out because it's the travel time of year. So now we can book trips months in advance because we have funding to secure those spots versus waiting for it to come back. So that's how nonprofit works, people. You got restricted funding that you can't spend on certain things, and it's a reimbursement. They have to approve what you purchase. But you do need somebody to give you unrestricted funding to cover that aspect, right? And we talked about fundraising just now on that call because of the fact of how important it is for some of the stuff that we need. Again, people, this is something I'm going to preach about nonprofits this year. If you're listening, advocating, please support nonprofits with professional services. We need a person to go out and find us those big donors that could spend that time. I can't be out taking care, and you heard me talk to Annette about this the other day, is I can't be out doing programming and catching memories, right? And going into classrooms with all my little artifacts. Look at all these artifacts. Look at, these are the ones that smell. These are, like I said, look at all these brittle starfish that are on the dock. They have definitely an aroma while we burn the candle, right? We have, you smell that, Scotty?
Oh, yeah.
Can you smell that one?
Yeah.
Right? Clams, little rocks with things in them. This looks like a little gold. Remember that little, see what kind of gold we got right there, right? This is how Community Kev goes to look for gold. Look at these bones right here. These are all on the dock. I don't know if that's a chicken bone or a fish bone or a seagull bone. That's part where the kids get to discover. Look, you guys ever seen a sand crab that big? We caught this on the pier. This is called a mole crab, a giant sand crab. So we just let the stuff dry out and decay. And again, that's why we got to burn those candles, right? Look at crab shells. I'm such a nerd. Little hearts. Look at that. I don't care what it smells like. Look at little shrimps that we found over there on the dock too, because we have a shrimp boat, a shrimping boat like Bubba Gump. Some more sponges. Oh, so much nerdy stuff. And the smells, I love it. I never get tired of it. I'm a Crete kid. All right. So again, there's that part. Here's our, what I was saying about nonprofits. We have professional services from somebody to help us go out and raise funds, a big gift getter, somebody that goes out and finds those big donors that want to donate. I'll do the presentation, but who's going to track them down, do the research to find big donors, big foundations. But so we got to fund that particular individual. Again, the reimbursement grant won't cover staffing. And also our consultant, our grant writer, and also somebody looks over our reports to make sure we're in compliance with the grants when we got to turn them back in, like this probation grant, right, that we got. Oceans of Opportunity, that we're doing our deliverables of what this contract is so that they'll continue to fund us. You have to pay somebody for that. Those are two positions that don't belong to a volunteer or an intern. Those are professional positions that you need qualified individuals to go out and do qualified quality work. And that's not always a board member that's donating their time after they have a regular job, or somebody that might be retired that doesn't even know how to use modern day technology. Again, bless their heart, but in today's world of nonprofit, I want you philanthropists to think about helping nonprofits with those couple of things. So when we're having our fundraiser that we're having, of course, we're going to use money to take the kids out. Don't get me wrong, we're gonna, but for the right staffing for us to have. So we're trying to raise $30,000 this year. We're gonna raise $30,000 through corporate sponsorships. We got some cool ideas. You know, maybe look at, here's the surveys that we're collecting. Unique was on the phone. Here's some surveys right here, right? How did your trip go? Let's see, fishing at the pier. Have you been here before? Yes. Loved the experience. My kids really wanted to fish, but I didn't feel confident enough to take them alone. So I fished a few times. It was great taking them because we were able to ask and learn how to do it ourselves, right? Here's another one. Lupe Roy from Camarillo, class fishing. You've been with us before? No. Please give any comments. The organization is great for the youth. Kevin and his team are very positive role models to our youth. Look at that, right? So we're going to take these and we're going to fold some of these up and we're going to send those in mailers to people for our fundraising efforts. Go that little extra mile, right? So you could hear about the memories that we catch, the Catch a Memory fundraiser, Catch a Memory booklet. But again, we need to raise funds for some of those specifics so that we can ultimately, again, it does help the program, right? It's how we are able to have enough of the team to get out to help out on the weekends, right? Or during the week when we're taking other organizations out. We need staffing and some don't want to pay for that, which we understand. That's part of the racket. But again, as far as professional services go for big gift donors or somebody to go out and do that research, and your professional services, whether it's financial or again, your grant writer and your reporting is super critical. So think about supporting those you donors out there, okay? And I'm going to keep preaching that this year because a lot of small nonprofits, we don't have that capacity or that bandwidth that maybe some of the bigger ones that have been on the block that people know more well known, but they have that staffing department. So they have somebody that goes out and looks for resource development on a daily basis, 40 hours a work week. And smaller nonprofits like us, where are we going to go? We're going to, programming is important. So these are all the rods right here. Not all. Uncle Dave has a ton of them. We have some out in our storage, but this is our rod section that we either sell or give away. We patch them together again as an achievement-based programming, right? So let's say the Guppy Ranger comes in. We do have ones that are donated, a little, been a little dusty and whatnot, but then you get something like this that comes in. The Shimano sent us, some Dave from Shimano sent us this reel. Check that out. And Dustin, that I met again at the summit, sent me these rods. He sent all these white rods that you see right here, right? And then Shimano sent a bunch of reels that we get to put. So, and then we have over here some stuff that we got from Promar. And then in the back, we got some stuff from Okuma. Sorry about that. Thanks, Dave. Shout out to you guys too. So our industry does help support what we're doing. Avco, Promar, Daiwa, direct sponsor for Real Anglers Fishing Show, Shimano. And these are people that we meet when we do go to those summits in the ASA and ICAST that we've been networking with. Again, the power of networking coast to coast, not just locally with Ventura, these local chambers, but going across to get the experience to go and network at huge events like the SHOT Show and the and ICAST, right? And the summit itself, ASA Summit. Actually, this year I'm on the Sustainability Council. I finally made it to a committee about sustainability practices. Here's our impact report. 2025 to give you all the info that we had from last year's success that we're giving out as well. What else we got? More of our, move the sheets out of the way. Over here, this is more of our hands-on education. There's a little reel building section. Kind of looks like, what was his name? Pinocchio's dad? Geppetto, right? There's Geppetto's area where he's building real rods and real poles, right? And somehow I feel like, Scotty, that I swear the Real Guppies again is where we give things a second chance, right? Or another life to live. Again, whether it be this is a well. This is part from a well that we got. What's that called? Baleen. Here's another big old piece of baleen that we leave here that we got, again, celebration of the wells that we'll be attending again. Here's one of those. Look at this old school. Again, when I talk about when they get to take this out and look, a little microscope to see what's in those little things. Hey, what's on this little seashell? Okay, here's a little, oh, wow, look, there's acorn barnacles growing on that thing. Isn't that intriguing? Right? So again, second chance. Look how old this thing is, 1932. Somebody put it out of their pocket. Same with our fishing reels up here. Look at these old lures. Look at this all antique and vintage. Again, nobody said this didn't work any longer. They just came something a little brighter, a little bit more bling, and those stopped selling. These stopped selling, and those did. So again, species identification. Here's a mole crab that I caught. Remember that mole crab that I was showing you over there on the dock? Here's what they look like. We actually caught one when we were fishing. mole crab. I took a picture of it. It was my photography work. And then we put it back in the water. So that was actual live mole crab that we caught. And then again, some of our historic pictures we got from Channel Island Sport Fishing. This is our fly fishing section a little bit. Again, we did it all, man. Again, I kind of got this idea from Jim Shockey on how he did his place, right? So look at, these are fly fishing. These are little nets that you bring when you're fly fishing. These are some old feathers that people would tie their flies with. A fly rod up there. There's look at this one. This is an article that somebody cut out about a bamboo fishing rod that came right here. Look, so we just put it. This is the old bag that it came in. Old relics and artifacts. See that? You just put them on display, man. Muhammad Ali, again, another brother up there. Another champion, right? He expected to win. He trained to win, and he won. A little controversial, and sometimes you got to be a radical, man, out here with some of these social justice, justice movements, man, that we got to get involved in. And again, as a believer of God in Christ, he was about justice, man, really, even back to the Lord himself. So shout out to that. And then again, yacht club members and some more certificates and some more awards. Our 6 children's books. We have a 7 children's book now called Shorebirds that just got released. And our new book, Scotty, is exclusive. We're going to do one on sharks next. California sharks is coming up. So we do have one back there, Pacific sharks, Pacific coast, but we're going to get involved in making one for California sharks that Isabella will get on next. So see here. Then you can see our 2 tables here. Oh, you know what I did want to show you guys? So here's the vision. I seen this when I was on there. You could see when we wrote this out how it would look, right? And now you have our TV screen behind you. You have your whiteboard here. You have the podcast booth in there. When you walk in, you see the Guppy thing, and we just kind of put this together. And there's a whiteboard that's over there, right? And there's your television that's over there. Now, right here behind you, I'll show you this right behind you, Scotty, but this was the vision board. You got to have vision boards, man. You've seen them in my office, right? You've seen that. You've seen the vision boards here. If it's just in your brain, is it really an idea or is it really a goal or is it an idea? I don't know how that works, but we'd like to doodle it out and write it. And I'll show you some more doodles in a minute. Here's a new coastal curt I got from Super Bowl. Check that out. Yeah, because we're all a unicorn, man. We're all unicorns. We're all something special. We're all something special. So this back part here, Scotty, right here that you wanted to showcase, this one down here. And then you can see our tables and our chairs. Brought it to life. Those are where we have the next thing we're going to start working on is our marine biology. And these are our microscopes. So the kids on the weekend, you can see in our window right here. You can't see them, but those are our flyers. Now that we have the high school interns, that Isabella, Christine, Jasmine, and Edith come in on the weekends. And we have staff to be here to open the doors for them. But you could come in here now and open these up, and you can start to learn. Oh, I bought this art from a young lady at Super Bowl II, right? Because I love art and I love supporting entrepreneurship. So I bought these 2 for $10 a piece in Lime, and I was getting some clam chowder. Little girl had a backpack full. She wanted to buy my art. Community Kev's a sucker for that. And I'm like, of course I do. I'll take 2 of them, right? Have a good day. And this one says, I love art. Tell you, that gives me goosebumps right there, man. Supporting. Remember when I used to sell lemonade on the stand, man? People will support your hustle just on getting. Wait a minute. Who's this? It's the homie Bob Ross. There he is again. And then, I don't know if you know about Battle Cat. I love it, man. Nostalgia, bringing it back. And then here's our little fishing one that we got from the Girl Scouts. A little badge. Like if you come in here, you got to come in here and spend like a day in here to see all the neat stuff of the 900 square feet that we've used, right? So these little boxes here, again, as the kids start to do their research, they'll do water sampling, soil sampling. They got their microscopes. That's what that area is. And they can put them on these desks here and do their own little science labs. And then they have little logs that are on that side where they can write down and have their little logs on what they found to be a little marine biologist for the day, right? Then we have some books here. Father, I love, again, Kevin Jr. So there's me and my boy. Look, see the bears. Again, I'll show you some more as we go around, right? Caliente Cow Bear with his son. Just stuff everywhere. These are my photos. This is my photo. Channel Islands University. I'm an Oxnard Condor community college kid where I took the film program when Real Angler started on that picture that you've seen. Again, what your dreams, what they could turn into, man, after 10 years. Now we're going to say after 15 when we do our open house again is March 26th. Check that out. Again, Senator bills, more awards that we got, virtual classroom. Now check this out. This is something that was made by one of our students, and we constantly watching good stuff here. This is Man Eater. We watch this show a lot, watching what he processes, kills, and we eat. But check this out. Ready? So this is something that, look at that. Another one. Sorry, they're back there. Again, Flower Garden Banks. This is when I was in Texas. That's when I went to that sanctuary back there. So again, behind stuff, there's stuff. cleats from the boat. Man, we have so much stuff. My mom used to call me Sanford and Son when I was little because I used to have a basket when I used to go dumpster diving looking for cans and bottles, but I always find other stuff to bring home too. She'd always say, leave it outside the house, and it'd be in a basket parked in front of our motel door where we're at the Villa Motel. And I had my little basket that I used to go out and collect trash and bottles and cans and make my pocket full of money and have my little odds and ends too, right? Look, is this another Bob Ross? Look, there's another Bob Ross. Those are his paints, paint by number. All right, so this is something that Jasmine put together. When I do go to the schools, these are our coastal critters. And again, Scotty, can you get that aroma? Yeah, there's dead animal in there, right? Right. So there's some starfish. This is the little mini Sir Chomps-a-lot. They love the sharks. Some abalone shells that were donated. Some she shells that we got off of the commercial fishing dock. Some sea urchins that were off the commercial fishing dock. Majority of this box right here is out of the commercial fishing dock, except for this that was donated. The lady brought in some real beautiful shells that they collected years ago, and she brought some really pretty ones in, so we take a little better care. But then this is what Jasmine put together, was English and Spanish, because in our backyard we have a lot of Spanish-speaking families. So look, there's a brittle starfish, look, the one that smells that odor, and we have it in English and in Spanish. The lobster, they destroyed the lobster. They broke him into pieces. See, this is what we got left. He didn't survive. He didn't survive the third graders. They got to him. See, purple urchin, right? So they're in English and Spanish, and this is what one of them. So again, Isabella put together the children's workbook, and working on her second one. Jasmine put together these so she could teach on the weekends when the kids come in. So does Edith, and then Edith also put together all the great flyers that you see as well. She's up with our promotions as her part of her internship. Business cards that we collected for our database. Here's another one. So I take these with me on the boat to schools, and then again, the students will use these to showcase when kids come in on the weekend, right? This was one that was pretty cool. A pelican beak. When we were doing our beach cleanup, they found this, and then what they do for some of these shells, even though they do have that fragrance like I talked about, they kind of go through like paleontologists with water and a toothbrush and kind of get all the different stuff off of there, right? I guess dirt, debris and stuff, and then they bring it back to life. So again, they got a second life. Like I was saying, our Dockside Learning Center, I had a second chance in life, man. Second or third chances. I believe in it, right? Redemption, being rebuilt, being restored, like my favorite classic lowriders. There's just something about restoration, redemption, and living with purpose, man, that we really like to showcase here at the Dockside Learning Center. Then we got this right here. I don't know if you guys seen this newest, latest of this handsome dude, Coastal Critters, Community Kev, a little something made for me. Again, I keep all my little cool things that people make for me, man, and that's gonna see it. Eventually, we'll have Community Kev Guppy Ranger memberships, kind of like a modern day Jack Hanna, you know, as these guys are getting older, or like I said, the PBS style. I'm gonna inherit. Well, actually, I'm gonna strong arm it. Inherited, however you want to say it, but it's mine. I'm taking it. Community Kev, Caliente Cowbear, right? And then again, a couple more awards. The Channel Islands. This is Debo. Come on down here. Let me introduce you to Debo. If you've seen Friday, you know Debo. He's a bully. This cichlid that we got donated by James. And yeah, we know it's a little dirty. The lights were turned on, so the moss grew in there. We got to get that cleaned up. But this is Debo, and he runs the tank, and he's all by himself because any fish you throw in there with him, he kills. So this is Debo, and Chris put that up there when he was interning here. So this is Debo, and this is his tank. He runs the tank like a prison tank. Down here, again, we have more old school artifacts that we keep in these tackle boxes. Look at this old I don't know what year that is. But yeah, see, these have more of the stuff that we take when we go to schools or do pop-ups or whatever. Shark teeth. Again, we always have some type of shark in everyone because people just love sharks, right? So the sharks we bring with us are Chomps-a-lot, shark teeth, the shark jaw that I brought. Sharks really get them engaged. So that's why we're going to do a book about them. This corner right here, let me turn this phone off. It's blowing up. Probably Kevin Jr. asking me about, I got to get some food in me too. Then an article that we did. I got a Hero of the Year. Got to celebrate that with my children. That was beautiful. We were in another magazine. A student that was here interning last year got to write. She wanted to do journalism, so she wrote an article when we were with the Ventura School, and it got published. So again, she got her work actually published in a journal, even though she's a high school student. She got her stuff published because we're not basic around here. We think super gigantic. And then right here, this is when the kids come in on the weekend. These are the rods and stuff that we use when we fish off the dock. So this area right here, hooks and weights, and then we have more fish over here, more gear down here. Again, we used every square inch. That's the bucket we do for refilling the fish. These are boxes of more tackle that have been donated we got to go through. We'll shoot these over to Uncle Dave, the smaller stuff like the weights that we use on the pier. So we go through the donated gear that's here. We use what we can on the pier. Other stuff, when we have our tackle swap meets, we sell it for donations. And we tell you not to try to lowball us, right? Don't give us $5. Like, this is a fundraiser for the program. The money still goes back into the program. And anyway, so Uncle Dave will get the smaller stuff that we use on the piers and the lakes. This is the stuff, again, that we use down there. So this is a little box that we take down to the dock. Smaller hooks and weights. Community Kev here again. Real Anglers Fishing Show back there. Another aquarium. And then what I wanted to show you was another doodle. So, and here's Mom. She's right here. This is Mom here. Look, there's another little bear. There's another bear. You never know when you're going to see him. I'm a Dolphin fan. I'm a Dodger fan. Got the Dave Roberts bobblehead. And behind there, you'll see the Miami Dolphins too. There's some Dan Marino cards back there. Now, see that tugboat right there? That's an important picture. Remember, I gave one of those to Eddie in Mud when we worked at Orkin, because those tugboats are just as important as those big cargo ships that come in, right? You know, you can't have one without the other. And when you're building a team, you know, I might be the big ship that's out there navigating, but I need my team, man. And those tugboats that are around me helping me get through the harbor are just as important. And never forget that, okay? Again, they're powerful, they're built mighty, and those big cargo ships wouldn't be any good. They couldn't get in the harbor on their own if it wasn't for these little tugboats right here. They're not very fast, but they're built durable to do the job, to get those big giant cargo ships in there. Me being a Port Hueneme kid in the port, you know, the tugboat means a lot to me, seeing cargo ships. Again, I tell you, my brain works in this way of, in that way where I put it. Check this out right here. So this is something that I collected when I was in Key West. Forgot the guy's name, but he made metal. He was a metal worker, and he made this. So again, one of my artifacts that I got when I was in Key West at ASA. So I always get some type of art or some kind of, again, artifact from all my travels to bring back. You can tell that there is also a lot of lighthouses. Like, here's another bear. Look, right on top of there, there's another bear. Just keeping an eye on. Oh, let me stuff him back in there. Oh, there you go. Sit up. They got bears over there too, right? Community Kevin is bears. And then here in lighthouses. Look, never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life, man. That's another thing I don't slow down on. That's why I said that paper about taking those breaks as an entrepreneur, as a visionary, as a man, taking care of business and responsible for people in the community. You still got to make sure you take a break and take care of yourself too, okay? I've done it myself, and sometimes you got to do it in a particular season, but come back, settle back in, and give yourself a break. Make a life for yourself, okay? And then again, there's Mom here. This is my mom in here, and then there's Grandma. Got a Super Bowl ring, something over here. What is that? Somebody donated. Look at that. Jerry Buss from the Lakers. That's right. Wow. Cool stuff, man. God, it's cool in here. All right, this is the last one again. Ocho, sorry, don't mean to stagger over you and Otis. But again, look at our doodles right here, okay? Going back to it, I doodled this out on how I wanted to have a bookshelf for the lady that told me I would never sell my books, that I had a check for selling my books. This is what we wanted to do. So here's our doodle. The towels will hang out here. Kid tested. Parent approved, not just mother. Parent approved, because we're fathers out here too, and educator endorsed. So if you come around here, we put it in there. Real Guppy Outdoors. There's a QR code that goes to the Community Kev logo. Parent approved, educator endorsed, and kid tested. Or kid tested, educator endorsed, parent approved. Remember kicks back in the day? Kicks are kid tested, that's parent right. Approved. Same thing. And then down here, you can see where I do my teaching. These are all different types of flies to teach them about artificial flies, right? What does plankton look like? You know, you have freshwater flies, saltwater flies. So this is all stuff to do with plankton and ecosystem and little creek critters. Look, see all these flies in there, handcrafted. So this is what I got. Back in the day, again, historically, if you go out fishing, you might put crickets in these. Those would be your little crickets you put on the side of your belt like that, so that you could have them and open them up and use those for bait. Some more artifacts that we've collected, more flies. This is where we give out some of our children's books. And then up here, this is supposed to be in there. This is our bobber selection too. See all the history of different colored and size bobbers that go along. Or indicators, right? A little bell that you might use. So these are little different types of indicators when you're getting a bite, right? See? All kinds of different colors, shapes, sizes. Look at that one, right? Where would they use that one? And then some of them have them left over because, yes, we did have a fish and pole Christmas tree. This year we put all the rods together, made a little standing Christmas tree, and we did use bobbers as our bulbs. Yeah, as our ornaments. So that's pretty much it. Excuse me, Scotty. Last thing I did want to show you, since I talked about that part, this is the Dockside Learning Center, where multimedia, internship opportunities, nonprofit, critters, great smells, impact reports. is that these are our children's workbooks that the lady said over and over again, I wouldn't be able to sell. Kevin Jr. is kind of helping running that sales department, but here's our children's workbooks. We figured out different ways to put them. We wanted to put these maybe down at the bottom so you're not covering them. Do you have animals on the front or kids on the front? You see diversity in their faces, colored faces, women. You know, again, we have some that are built on, more animals and ecosystem and habitat, lake critters and pier critters. It comes with tattoos and stickers in there. So these are our packages for schools or Walmart or distribution right now on our little chip clips right here. So we could say, hey, this will fit right in your store. So you got that display over there with the doodle. These are different displays here in case you want to put these in your retail store. And schools are purchasing them now too for their science week. So again, have vision, man. You know, everybody out there, you have a purpose. This is that motivational moment. You have a purpose, man. God put something in you that you love to do, right? You need to go after it. You need to chase it. You need to invest in yourself. You need to take time, take a couple of dollars out of your pocket and invest into yourself, into your future, into your children, into your grandchildren, into your legacy. Like I said, my granddaughter comes here, and again, I'm just a kid from Port Hueneme, man, that had a vision and a dream. I've been in trouble. I've grown up in single homes. I moved out of the house when I was about 15 years old. Like, I have every story that you could think of, and they didn't hold me back. Again, the American flag out front, man. You can live the American dream. Have some faith and take a leap of faith. Like Bob Ross, you know, you might make some little, these little bad, what are they called? As much as I watch the show, I should know, accidents, right? And go after it, man. All right. So Community Kev, I got to go. I got to eat real quick. Got to feed the muscles. And then I'm going to head up to Carpinteria and then I get to teach fishing at Carpinteria School with Kevin Jr., man. Another dream come true. I get to work alongside my son that started me with this. That's actually his logo. It's two pictures of Kevin that are merged together into one. And that's how we got the logo. So to be up there fishing with my son and teaching, and he gets a paycheck from the business, and so does Unique and Alexis. You know, they were my first interns out of my house helping me out when Kevin was 5, Unique was 8, and Alexis was 11. And now they're still working with the company to this day. So yeah, check it out. Coastal Critters, communitykevin.com. One more thing, Uncle Dave, our releasing device that we have, you might see on the pier, I needed to mention. So these are our releasing devices. The first one, so if we catch a big fish on the pier, we can lower it down without it getting dazed and dying and belly flopping. And then we have a bigger aquarium on the pier now too, where we put some of the things that we catch at the kid day. We have a big black ones for putting like the sharks that you see in there, the smaller shark species. And then these ones that we have for the kids to check out of Touch Tank. And then again, here's our releasing devices that we use 1 and 2. Lower it down, open it up, the fish swims out, and there's no harm, no foul. And this, of course, is big enough for us to eat. Then we're going to take it home and release it in a hot grease or hot butter. So that's it. Again, Community Kev, look, you're all a unicorn, okay? We don't have Barry today, but we have our unicorn right here. We have not got a name for it yet. Scotty, think of a name? Or wait, what do you got?
Let's have an email a name.
All right, email a name.
Text us a name.
For a unicorn, right? Because we're all unique, right? Like my daughter, and we're all one of a kind, right? You're one of a kind. I'm definitely one of a kind. And again, be a unicorn, man. Go be great. Let the greatness flow through you, no matter where you're at, what you've been through, man. Community Kev encourages you to chase your dreams, go catch some memories, and live your best life. Okay. Have a great day. Let's go.
To learn more about Real Guppy Outdoors, please visit www.communitykevin.com. Brought to you by Aftco Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.